Happy Monday night.
Hello again.
Here. Yeah, hello again for the second time today because we had 2 interviews today. But we are live with Ashes to Omens. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
We are
doing well.
Fantastic. Y'all good? You good?
I'm good.
Everybody good?
Everybody's good.
All right, everybody's fucking good.
Everybody's good.
Normally, I start out, but since his ass had to miss this afternoon's interview, I'm gonna let you go first.
All right. So we're gonna start this off with what is the craziest thing that you guys have seen while at a show?
While at a show, I don't know. I got me and Casey who just joined us. We have a few ride home from the show stories.
Okay.
If I could share one of those.
Let's do it.
Go for it.
So we were coming back from Jacksonville many years ago, and this is disgusting. I'm going to go ahead and warn anybody that's watching.
Let it out.
And it's like 4 a.m. We're getting close to Casey's house to unload the drums, and it's really dark outside. And all of a sudden, I just start seeing like blood on the road, and I'm like, "What is that?" Then I start seeing like carcass, and I'm like, "Oh my God, that somebody hit a deer!" And about the time I said it, I ran right over an organ or something, and it just went like a water balloon busting. I was hanging out the window gagging. Casey was laughing at me, but felt bad for the deer.
Yeah.
Now we've got the benchmark laid down for the show. Right on.
It happens. You gotta watch those deer. They're everywhere.
Right? Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's nasty. That's nasty.
I was afraid it was going to be like someone shit their pants or something. Like,
No, not yet. No, that hasn't happened yet.
I got that covered.
Oh, you got that one covered?
Well, I didn't shit my pants. I almost shit my pants, but I did not. But our drummer did shit his pants. We've told the fucking gas station seafood sushi story a million times.
Oh man, that's horrible. Gas station sushi is not a good time.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Not when you're all like, you got 2 guys out on the balcony shitting in flower pots, one guy in the fucking goddamn shower, one guy in the sink, one guy in the toilet. Then you get to the fucking venue and you get halfway through your show and your drummer's shitting himself and you have to put hefty bags up underneath him. And as soon as he goes to get off the fucking stage, he's got to waddle with a hefty bag around him to get off the fucking stage.
I really hope.
Oh man, that sounds horrible.
things we do for our art.
It was bad. It was so bad.
That was a pity situation.
It was beyond shit. And that was like the rankest crap because you talk about like stage sweat and shit.
Oh,
All at the same time.
Ew.
That's awful.
And he had to like marinate in that shit for like a good 30 minutes. So,
Casey, do we get that kind of commitment from you? We just give you a hefty bag on stage and just go in the bag?
You know what? I'm not against it. Not
you're a
against it.
sniper when you go on.
Well, see, Casey's very smart though. He is very aware of what he eats before he plays the show because he knows he'll be sweating and hot up there and everything. So Casey's very intelligent when it comes to that. He doesn't want any hiccups on the stage, so I give him props for that. He probably won't ever run into that issue.
I had to learn that the hard way. To realize that I pretty much, if like I'm playing a show, it's highly unlikely that I'm going to eat. And if I do, it's like protein bars. That's like it. That's the only thing I'll fucking touch all damn day. Tons of water.
We're learning the hard way here lately. We've been doing Mexican like 2 or 3 hours before we go on, and
Yes.
I told the guys, I was like, no, I can't do that anymore. That's like a recipe for disaster.
Yes, you ain't wrong, Jamie.
I don't know. Mexican or Taco Bell?
Oh no!
I mean,
Taco Bell will definitely be worse. Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's the fake Mexican food.
Yeah, that's like 35% food and 65% grease.
That is true. That is true. So if each one of you could spend 24 hours with any music idol or icon, who would it be? This is dead or alive.
Oh, wow. That's a great question. You guys can go first.
Jamie, go first. I'm thinking.
Alive would probably is a tie right now for me. This has changed over the course of my life, but it would either be Johnny Hawkins or Ben Burnley alive, and someone that's already passed away. Like hands down, probably like a two-way tie between like Freddie Mercury or David Bowie. Like
That's a
those are
hard
great.
any like tips I could get from those two guys, oh my god, I would like give a foot for.
I've met
yeah.
Johnny, and Johnny was one of the nicest people I think I've ever fucking met in my life.
Oh, I'm sure.
Nice.
And he saved my ass because I was at Welcome to Rockville, and I just had surgery on my shoulders. I was in a bad car accident, and I was hurting. Like, I was hurting really fucking bad because I wanted to drink alcohol, so I didn't take any painkillers or anything. And that dude was like, dude, you look like you're dying. And I wasn't even paying attention. He was in the sound booth, and I was backed up against the sound booth, like trying to protect myself because fucking Amon Amarth was up on the fucking stage. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get fucking murdered. And he was like, he tapped me. He's like, dude, get in the sound stage. Come on before you get hurt. And so I still didn't even pay attention to who it was. Got up, and there's fucking Johnny sitting there.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. And he was like, you hurt? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I can get you something. Fucking comes back. Fucking here you go. Joint. Fucking I was great for the rest of the day.
I bet
I didn't feel a damn thing.
Yeah, his voice is so insane. He's such an incredible vocalist.
That their stage performance and their fucking presence is just unmatched.
Oh yeah.
Bottom line. All right, Casey, Chris, which one you want to go?
So I got a tie as well. For me, alive would be a tie between David Draymond from Disturbed and Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue, and I have reasons for both of them. David Draymond just always seemed like a very humble man. Like, I saw Disturbed in concert, and he's one of the very few that are in mainstream music that I believe genuinely cares about his fans and his people. He will always, he told this long, beautiful story, or he let a fan come on stage and tell this long, beautiful story about him overcoming some things. And I just see David Draymond as just genuinely a good person. And I've always been a Disturbed fan since I was about 11 years old. So, he's definitely one of them. And Nikki Sixx would probably be, because I'm in a similar situation, not the personality and the drugs or anything, but as far as starting off not knowing how to play bass and learning as I went, like, because I had like almost zero knowledge of the instrument, and I've gained the majority of my knowledge from this band. I played it a little bit before this band. Me and Casey tried a band when we were, in our teen years. But I really started hammering in and learning as with this band. And Nikki Sixx wasn't a bass player when he joined Crew, and he kind of was, but he wasn't really good to start off with, and now he's one of the most famous bass players in the world. So it's kind of inspiring to me. But I'll leave it at the bass playing as far as commonalities with Nikki Sixx.
Right.
He was a raw dude. As far as dead musicians go, I'd have to go Freddie Mercury for one. Beautiful voice. One of the very first openly gay vocalists in the scene back when it was very much an unaccepted lifestyle. Well, he wasn't openly gay, but he was kind of open about it. Either way, him and Tupac Shakur. I've always had kind of a fascination with Tupac.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That is great.
All right, Casey, you're in the hot seat.
I think currently I would like to hang out with Hayley Williams from Paramore. I think she is just all around cool, and she's got an awesome voice. As far as deceased, I would say Prince.
Oh, yes.
This Prince is just he's like the jack of all trades, He could do it all.
Yeah.
He was just such a talented man. So those would be my two, just right off the top of my head.
Right. I could dig Prince.
Yeah.
I could dig Prince. That'd be cool as shit. You're talking about somebody who could pretty much play every instrument that you fucking stuck in front of him.
Yes.
Play it very well, like every fucking one of them. So to me, that's always been really fucking cool to find musicians that can play that many that well.
Yes, I agree.
You put me in front of a drum set and I'm fucked. I'm not that great at guitar either. Bass is the only thing I really fucking know.
Same.
Hey man, it's funny because I've actually tried playing Christopher's bass and I just can't fathom it. It doesn't make sense to me. I just can't figure it out, man.
Fair enough. All right, Meg, you're up.
All right. What is the first concert you guys ever went to?
Seether, Chevelle, and Crossfade, 2005, Underground Atlanta. Memorable story from that is I had bought this right when Karma and Effect came out. I had bought the CD at the show with the sticker to get Seether to sign it. For some reason, I did not stick it to the jewel case, and I lost the sticker, but I still went up to the table. And one of the funny stories is the woman that I went with, she was her husband was, in a local band at the time. It's my first little foyer with local music too, because he was playing a show that night in Atlanta as well. So she was just taking pictures of the band, and I still remember it was kind of funny. Sean Morgan was sitting at the table, had Budweiser next to him, and her name's Mandy. Mandy said, "Hey, Mr. Morgan, may I get your picture?" Very politely to him, and he said, "Yeah, hold on a second." He takes the beer and just turns it up and does this, and she got the picture.
Nice.
So, pretty cool.
All right, fair enough. All right, how about you, James?
So I have two examples of my first concert. So don't judge me too harshly. So I went to my first actual concert when I was like 5 years old to see this country band called Alabama.
Oh my God!
Hold on, time out.
Shit.
Jamie, can I cut in?
Sure.
That was technically my first concert too. At 5 was Alabama at Six Flags. I just didn't count that one.
Wow.
Wow.
Today I learned. I did not know that. I actually saw them up north in like Clarksville, Georgia, when they were doing some tour when I was really young. But my first rock concert I ever went to was actually in 2006. I got to see Shinedown and Athens at the Georgia Theater when they were touring their Us and Them album, when Save Me was red hot on the radio then. And they were actually the third of 4 bands playing that night. The first band was Lost Hand, Found Fingers, followed up by Hailstorm before they blew up. And Trapped actually headlined that show. And that was when Trapped had like beyond exploded with Headstrong and Echo. And but I actually got to talk to Lizzie at the merch booth when I think her brother still had blonde hair then, and he was playing drums. And so I got to chat with them for a hot minute, and I got a copy of their demo that they were touring that time before they actually re-recorded I'm in Love with Somebody with the label, and then it blew up.
Oh,
And
awesome.
she was one of the coolest chicks I think I've ever met. And she told me this story about how they had a hard time keeping a bass player for the past couple of years because they had started doing really well, and the bass players they had playing with them weren't reliable. And their dad was actually their bass player, but he was so much older than her and her brother was. He would play off stage so that they could like take center stage and really kind of own that. So they had the guitarist, they had Lizzie, and she would sometimes play guitar, and then the brother on drums, and dad off stage playing bass guitar.
That's
awesome.
an interesting
Cool.
tactic.
Yeah.
Okay, Casey. Which first one?
I think I was a late bloomer compared to the other fellas. I think I was 14, maybe 13. I saw Godsmack at the Fox Theater in Atlanta.
Nice.
I remember being a little bummed at the time, but I've learned to appreciate both drummers. I was really heavy into Godsmack, and Shannon Larkin was one of my earlier rock drummer influences. And the first time I saw them, they had their drummer Tommy Stewart, I believe.
That's
And
right.
so I was a little bummed at the time, but I've grown older and I appreciate both of them equally. They're both amazing drummers. But being young at the time, I was like Shannon Larkin, and
Shannon
was like,
Larkin is awesome. I got to interview him a couple of years ago.
oh,
Fantastic,
nice.
fantastic man. And then me and Meg just seen him at Welcome to Rockville. He played with Snot at Welcome
Oh,
to
wow.
Rockville, which was
That's awesome,
fucking
man.
awesome to get to see that.
That
That's
is super
awesome.
cool.
You don't feel bad about your first concert being at 14. My first concert, I was 30.
Oh,
So-
wow.
Oh, wow.
What was that?
Wow, wow.
What
Where,
was that,
who
Meg?
did you see?
I saw Spirit Box, Mastodon, and Ghost.
Oh,
Right on.
All right,
right
all
on.
right, hold on,
That's
hold
you,
on.
Jamie.
All right, so two things about that. So first thing, that's awesome because that's an insane fucking lineup.
Yeah, it was
but
awesome.
I got to see Ghost perform with Iron Maiden. They were touring with Iron Maiden back in 2017.
I went to
drove.
that tour.
Yeah, you went to that show?
I did. Well,
Oh,
I
my
went to it in North Carolina, but I went
Yeah.
to that tour, so I know exactly what tour you're talking about.
Okay, so I took my boys to see them in Charlotte, and I'd never seen Ghost before. My son actually introduced me to Ghost.
Oh,
And
you went to the one in Charlotte at
Yeah.
PNC? That's the one
Yeah.
I went to.
No,
Went the
yeah.
same
small
fucking
fucking
one.
world. Wow. Yeah, man. I've still got video of that show. Oh my God, Iron Maiden and Ghost was that lineup was, oh, it was insane. But it was crazy show. But then also, last week, it's funny that you brought up Mastodon. We were getting some merch redone, and for our show that we just played at the Georgia Theater this past weekend, and the gentleman that we use to do our shirts now is doing it in the basement of this facility that you can rent. And when I pulled around there, I was chatting with him. I got our shirts and picked them up and was really impressed with the work that he had done. And he said, "Hey, do you know who Mastodon is?" And I was like, "Oh, of course. Everybody in Georgia knows who Mastodon is." And he said, "They're recording their new album in the studio right there." And I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." But, people say wild things like that all the time. And I just kind of let it roll off my shoulder. Well, I go to get in my truck to leave, and I'm admiring this amazing 79 Ford pickup, like this solid black, it's trimmed in white and chrome. And Bill walks out and goes to his truck. And I was like, holy fucking shit, like it's Bill from Mastodon. Like I was starstruck for a second. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna roll my window down, like, hey, what's up, man? That truck is badass. Like, I never like even acknowledged that he was Bill, and he never acknowledged who he was. But we sat there and we talked about his truck for like 3 or 4 minutes, and he just seemed like a chill dude, just like the nicest guy ever. But yes, that's my master.
Awesome.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
I love Mastodon because, like, I've been playing around here, and they used to come down before they even got signed. They used to play in Savannah at the Jinx. And I seen them with, like, it was them and Kylesa and Black Tusk.
Okay.
They all played. And I was like, well, before they, like, blew the fuck up. And they were cool as shit then.
They did this underground show, I want to say like 6 months ago, this surprise super secret show. I want to say it was at 529 or Star Bar. And they just randomly promoted it as a show called Woolly Mammoth. And of course, everybody knew that it was Mastodon, and it sold out immediately. It was like completely packed out. It was crazy.
That's so funny. That's so cheeky.
That's fucking awesome.
That's nice.
All right, Daffy, you up.
All right, guys. If you can play and or just go to a festival of any choice that you want to in the world, where would you go?
I know mine. You want me to go first, Jamie, or you got it?
Sure.
Or you, Casey?
No,
'Cause I
you
think
go
me and
first,
Casey,
Ted.
me and Casey might be the same place. I want to do Carolina Rebellion.
Nice.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I would agree.
I don't know. For me, I think maybe it's a tie between maybe Hellfest.
Ooh.
Or
That's so bad. I've been seeing pictures of it because Hellfest was just like a week or two ago.
just last week. Yeah.
And I've been seeing like people that we've interviewed that are overseas bands that were fucking at it. And I'm just like, God damn it. I want to fucking go so bad.
Oh yeah, yeah. It looked insane. I think maybe a tie between that or maybe Blue Ridge,
Ooh.
because I really like a lot of the bands that play Blue Ridge the past couple of years. And it's just it's just Virginia, so it's not very far.
No, it's just a couple hours away.
Yeah.
All right, Casey, how about you, man?
I would probably agree with Christopher. Carolina Rebellion. I remember being young and wanting to go and thinking it was just the coolest thing. Like any rock band that I loved partook in it.
Too bad it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, you know what?
That is a bummer.
Can I step in and say, give us a throwback of a tour that I would love to do is Ozfest.
Oh.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. They haven't done Ozfest in how long has it been?
2001 or 2002.
Yeah, that would be sick because that's all I heard about in middle school and high school, or really middle school going into high school was Ozfest. I would love to do Ozfest or Not Fest.
They actually tried to do it was like a weekend Ozfest in Cancun, Mexico. And I bought tickets, and I was married at the time, and me and my ex-wife, we bought tickets and to go, and it was like 3 days, and it was like at an all-inclusive like hotel. I think it was like a Hard Rock hotel or something. And there was shows and music every day, and there's shit like you could like watch movies with the Osbournes and fucking like all kinds of crazy shit that they were doing. And it got canceled because Ozzy got sick or hurt or something like that. They canceled the whole thing, and the promoter took off with everybody's fucking money.
Wow.
That's dirty.
Luckily, we used our credit card, and the credit card company refunded us back. But a lot of people lost a fuck ton of money, and it was not cheap. It was not cheap at all.
That's like that one shitty fest that they did the documentary on, where that dude robbed all those people. There's millions of dollars for that festival. Fire Festival, yeah.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
I heard about that.
That wasn't too much. That wasn't too long ago. That was just like 2 years ago?
It was like 2 or 3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. I fucking remember about that shit. Holy fucking hell. Good God.
That was actually 2017.
It's been a while ago.
It's been a minute.
You know what? When you get older, fucking like 8 years feels like 2 years, and it's just on. And
it does.
Bullshit. It needs to slow the fuck down.
No kidding.
Fucking insane. All right.
Anytime sorry.
No, you're good. What is your guys' craziest fan interaction? Weird, insane shit, anything.
I say you guys, Christopher. So you told me a story back when I took a break from the band of I don't know if I would say it was a fan, but the attachment to a guitar.
That was a fan. Okay, well, it might have been the venue owner. I don't know. So we played this little dive bar and venue in Piedmont, South Carolina, called Tribbles. It's like a old little shell station converted into a venue. Very small, but very built-in crowd. Very rowdy fans. We have a guitarist named Nathan that was still with us, that was playing that show that night. This is in between the Casey era, so unfortunately he didn't get to see this. But I'm like playing the show, and all of a sudden I look over at Nathan's guitar, and he has this big freaking 13-inch dildo with a suction cup on it stuck to his guitar, flopping around.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, the owner of the venue walked up.
Pulled off and threw it at somebody.
Yeah, we were playing on the floor. The place didn't have a stage, so it was just like a big open floor we had set up. And while we were playing, like the people were like 2 foot away from us, like a house show kind of almost.
Awesome.
Right.
And owner of the place just walked up in the middle of Nathan playing the chorus and just like wham, popped it on the bass of his guitar.
I love it.
And what do, right? You
can't
play-
stop.
Wiggle it a little bit.
Yes.
Swing your dong around, you know.
Hey, at least nobody had him like him fuck him with it. That would have been interesting.
Nathan's like the shyest dude in the band. He's the quietest. So they picked the wrong. Like if they'd done that to me, I'd have walked around trying to slap people with it.
Yeah.
But Nathan's like, dude, what the hell? I want to say he pulled it off and threw it at him. I don't remember what he did, but yeah, they picked literally the shyest fella in the band and did that to him.
Good
I was trying to
God.
think of if there was any other our tour, like our show stories are kind of tame compared to some other places, but like with the last tour we went on, like in Ohio, two tours ago, we got shut down by the cops in Dayton, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
That was not, I don't want to say it was like a wild fan interaction, but it was like the 9th night on a 10-night tour, and then we were on our way home, and the 10th night was in Nashville, so we were going from Dayton to Nashville and then home, and we were playing this place, which I hope to play again one day soon, but it was a small venue, small but nice stage. Capacity was like 120 people. It's very low key, like dive biker bar, and two metal bands went in front of us, and very loud, very good metal bands, but the venue was right in front of essentially like all the
a residential neighborhood,
subdivisions and residential areas. So it was like huge residential area, and then 2 blocks down was the industrial part of the town, and then the street, and then the venue, and then the interstate. It was really weirdly and oddly placed, right? So while they were playing, someone had left the back doors open to the venue. And so all you heard was like growls and screams for 45 minutes, echoing over and through this entire residential area. So they get done, and we're headlining on this tour. And by the time we go on, we are 2 songs into a 45-minute set. And the bookie comes up to us, or the agent for the show, and he's like, "Hey, you guys have you got to wrap it up." And I'm like, "What?" And he gets closer. He's like, "Hey, you got to wrap it up." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? We just started." And he says, No. The cops are shutting us down. Like somebody left the door open. You guys are gonna have to finish the song and be done. And I'm like, "No, fuck that, man. We drove like 6 hours from King of Prussia, Pennsylvania to here to play this show. There's no way we're stopping." And so I told the guys to keep doing what they were doing, and I walked out with him, and I was like, "What cop told you that?" And he points. And he goes, "That one." And we walk out the venue, and I was like, "The one going down the street?" And he goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Fuck that cop." And so we go back in, and I told the entire crowd, I was like, "Hey, the Dayton PD wants us to shut down because somebody left the back door open." And I'm going to repeat the string of obscenities that I said about that group at the time. But by the end of the night, by the end of that next song, the entire bar, the entire venue was up there. We sold out all of our merch that night. Needless to say.
Boy.
Oh yeah.
Holy
save it.
Yeah, and we also closed it with one of our heaviest songs at the time that got people really moving. So they were ready to riot when we didn't get to finish our set.
Well, I think that would go for about fucking anybody. I mean, going from bands that are traveling those kind of distances just to play, and then fans that pay the money to see every band.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking come on. And hey, you can't help that that's where the fucking venue is.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you assholes, you're the ones that bought fucking houses here.
Well, shut our
Right.
door. Sorry.
Sorry, we're having a difficulty real quick. Meg, you go ahead, go up.
Alrighty. So how do y'all know when you're writing a song? How do you know when it's finished? When it's done?
I don't think, my personal opinion is, I don't think a song is ever really finished. I think that when we go, whether we're writing it on our own or we're in studio, I think songs could always be improved, or you track something and you release it and you're like, oh man, hindsight's always 2020. We could have done something a little bit unique here or something there. But I think the best answer that I could give for that is you just have to go with your gut and just say, you know what, we put everything into this. We've given our very best and we believe in this the way it is. And I'm sure that there's some little thing that we could nitpick, but at the end of the day, if you continue to nitpick, if you don't ever say, okay, this is our line, we can't go any further, or we're not going to stop, right?
Right.
And so that's kind of the line we have to draw when we get it to where we're all really happy with it. That's the only part where we can say we're really done.
Yeah.
To piggyback off of what James just said, I don't even remember what song it was. It was on the Black Boxes album. But I was riding home with the drummer at the time, and he said, man, I'm really upset. I'm like, why? And I said, there's a part in this song. I want to say it was Wounds. Yeah, pretty sure it was Wounds. He said, I wanted to do this. Like, he actually quoted, I think it was Diary of Jane by Breaking Benjamin. Take a little something from that at a certain part of the song. I can't remember exactly what it was. But my response to him is, an artist is never happy with their finished product. They never are. They never will be. You get an artist, a writer, no matter how good it is, no matter how much, all you guys top row up there think it might be, the ones on the bottom row down here are like, well, we could have did this better. We could have did that better. So I kind of agree with James too, but I also kind of know, like, the songs that we have written now, I would say I don't think there's really anything I would change about them. I mean, I'm sure small nuances here and there. I know I wanted to do something a little more unique in the Tide for the bass parts, and Favorite Sin for that matter. I know Casey want to add probably a couple more accents, like, certain spots of songs and everything. I mean, these little things, but overall as a whole, I'm pretty satisfied with the 5 songs that we just dropped on that EP. I would say they are finished. And I feel okay with the finished product.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Honestly, as artists, we are our own worst critics.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Always. I was always told to go with your gut. Like, don't overthink it, because when you overthink it, then you just continuously get in this cycle of tearing it apart over and over and over, and then you'll just never fucking be happy.
Right.
So it's like, just go in, do your thing, fucking make sure it sounds good, and if it sounds good, just roll with it. Don't start fucking tearing the goddamn thing apart.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah, because I'm a chronic overthinker. I overthink all kinds of shit.
Same girl, same.
Taken me years to, like, get out of that, like, whole thought mentality and process of just write it, go with your gut, and just let it go. Mm-hmm. And then fucking move on. So,
right.
Each one of you, if you had a choice of playing in any band at all, past or present, what band would you choose to play in?
I can answer something right away.
I was going to say, Casey, you go first. Me and James went first past a couple times. Your turn.
I just remember when I was really heavy into Saving Abel. I was about 15 or 16, and not in an arrogant way at all. I was like, man, I feel like for their style, like, the drummer doesn't do enough. Like, he could do so many little accents and, like, tasty feels on the drums. So I always, in my mind, I was like, man, that'd be so cool. Like, to just be able to write with them, with the style at the time. And I was heavily into that style, but just, like, give it a little more flair. Like Daniel Adair from Nickelback is one of my biggest drum influences, as well as Eric Moore, because they're just very technical. So at that time, Saving Abel, I mean, still, hell, I don't know if they're still writing, but I would love to play with them just for the sake of like adding a little more. And I'm not knocking their drummer, but just like it's just like, you know, put like so much potential. It's like, man, you like this could have been here, and it would have just spiced it up just enough for what the rest of the guys are doing in the band, you know.
You never know; they might be watching.
That's true.
Maybe, man.
You get a phone call. Hey, man, you want to come play with Saving Abel?
It's on
Yeah.
YouTube.
You know, I'll tell you to go for it. Then I'd tell you to ask if they need a bass player. Bye, James. I'm kidding.
No.
I'm teasing.
No, man.
Yeah, I honestly don't. I don't think there is anybody I would want to take the place of, because if I took the place of them, then it kind of, I don't know, it would kind of disrupt like how that band is supposed to be. I mean, yeah, you maybe play like, you know, Godsmack or Metallica or something. That'd be cool, you know, be their bass player or whatever. But you can think about that. But at the end of the day, I believe that the people that are in the band are the ones that need to be. So I don't think I would want to take anybody's place, really. And I'm very happy in the band that I'm in right now, even if we're not mainstream yet. And I did say yet.
That's a good save, Chris. I like that. Good save.
But even though we're not mainstream yet, I'm very content with the band that I'm in. And I don't know, I would feel weird if I took somebody's place. I don't know.
I think for me, I would go probably the same route that a band has already went, that's already replaced their vocalist. And I would probably say, and show my age, I'd probably say AC/DC.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's good.
See, I know mine right off the bat. I mean, I love my band and I would never leave my band, but fuck it, if I could play like a show or like a tour, it'd be Marilyn Manson, hands down.
Oh, nice.
That'd be a wild time for some of us.
I'm a huge Manson fan, and he was a big influence on me musically, you know, growing up. And because I started with, you know, I'm going to show my age. My very first band that got me into wanting to be a musician was Motorhead, and seeing Ace of Spades for the first time on MTV. And I got fucking hooked. And Lemmy's what made me want to even be a fucking bass player, was fucking Lemmy. And then
bass player and vocalist. That's a unique thing as a bass player and a vocalist. Plus, you know, Lemmy loved Motorhead. Lemmy always sounded like he just smoked a cigarette right before he sang.
Because he did. He was smoking while he was doing it.
He had a whole pack of Marlboro Reds he'd burn through in a show, I guarantee it. But that's a callback right there, and I love some Motorhead.
They actually, I heard a rumor once that he actually had a custom bass case made that had a spot for a pack of Marlboro Reds in the fucking bass case.
Wow.
I don't know how true that is, but I heard it from more than one person that had got to either be around him or play with him that was like, yeah, it's true. And I'm like, I need to see this for myself. I just want to know. I got to know. Hands out. All right, Daffy, you up.
All right, guys, what do you do outside of music when you're not in the studio, you're not recording, you just guys got downtime?
Well, as far as job wise is concerned, I'm an assistant manager at a major retail grocery store, which doesn't sound exciting, but it pays the bills. And I love the people I work with. So there's that. I also enjoy writing stories in my spare time and going down rabbit holes in YouTube. Specifically, now I like to nerd out on a couple things. One's Titanic. I'm very fascinated by that and maritime history. I'll go down rabbit holes about that for hours. Old school wrestling, watching stuff about that. Okay. And really just I forget what somebody said it was called. I'm kind of like zero in on something. What's it called?
Hyperfocus.
Hyper focus. That's it. Yeah, I hyper focus on like one thing for like a good month, and then I'll move on to the next thing. But yeah, those are, I got my day job that I do, which all of us do. So that takes up a lot of my time. But in spare time, I like to write, read, or listen to audiobooks, and go down rabbit holes on YouTube.
All right, James. So
Okay.
you.
So for me, I own a retro video game store, and so I spend most of my time there during the day, like buy, sell, and trade retro games, modern games, and stuff like that. When I'm not doing that, it's mostly like comic books or catching a movie or just chilling at home.
All right.
All right.
Chill.
Yeah, I'm pretty nerdy myself. James has an awesome store, by the way.
He does.
Oh,
He's got some great games and collectibles in there, and I like to collect.
What's the name of the store?
It's Back in Time Gaming in Comer.
Ooh.
I got this from James's store.
Oh yes, dude.
Wait, there's a glare.
Yes.
I can't tell what it is.
It's Killer Instinct on the SNES.
Oh, is it Killer Instinct 2?
No, I think it's no, it's the first one. Yeah, couldn't
Oh,
remember
okay.
when you said that. Yeah, I love his store. Sorry, cutting Casey. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I collect action figures, superhero action figures, and the NECA horror figures. And I enjoy trying to. I haven't done as much lately, but when I don't play drums, I try to dabble on other instruments, just like keyboard and a little bit of acoustic guitar. But I tell people that I can say I'm a drummer, but I can't say I'm a guitarist or a pianist because I'm not good enough at those. But they're fun to try nonetheless. So
Fair enough. All right. Well, since
Right.
you guys are into some of the nerd shit, Marvel or DC?
Oh man, you trying to divide us here? Because me and James are definitely opposite on this one. Go ahead, Captain America. Go ahead.
Jamie, you go for it, man.
Go for it, Jamie.
So I'm.
I like both.
I do. I like both. Like I have a Death of Superman tattoo on my shoulder, so like I'm a big fan of Superman. Obviously, I'm super hyped for this new movie, but I like Marvel and DC for respectively different reasons. Like I love Marvel, like everything about Marvel. Like I have a huge Marvel comic collection, even so. But I mean, I grew up reading DC comics. I grew up reading Superman and Batman, so I'm kind of 50-50 on it.
So I'm the one in the band that doesn't watch a lot of superhero movies. Between the two, like Casey, James, Nathan, Trip, they'll all sit there and talk Marvel this, Marvel that, and all the movies that they've seen are going to go see, and these TV shows like WandaVision and what was the other one? Mandalorian,
Loki,
stuff like that. Loki, yeah, and I'm just sitting there kind of off to the side, like, hi, I'm still here. But if I had to pick between the two, I've always been Batman through and through. Love Batman. That's the ones that I got into. But I also love Spider-Man a lot. I'd just say Batman's a little bit more, so I'd have to lean towards DC. That's why, because I know James is really big into Marvel. Actually, you're a little more into DC than I thought you were. Learning something about you tonight. But I always just hear you talk about Marvel all the time, and I know I've always kind of been more kind of towards DC, but I can also agree with James that, you'd like both of them for different reasons.
Yeah, I'll show my age for a minute. I grew up on 2002 Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, so Spider-Man was like my introduction to my older brother was into Batman heavily, so that was the DC side, and then I stumbled upon Spider-Man. But I think with Marvel, it's just they have such a solid, like they have so many movies, so it's easy to pick up and be like, find at least one that you're interested in. As far as DC, I would say that Batman, like the whole Batman verse, is solid. All the villains and everything is just epic. So a little of both, like Jamie said.
I was a little bit of both up until I hit like I think like 5th or 6th grade, and the old X-Men animated series came out,
Bro.
and I got really into fucking X-Men. And growing up, my grandfather, if I did good, did my chores and all that shit for $5, I could go down to the comic book store, get like 2 comic books, a fucking thing of the X-Men collector cards, a package of Pogs, and go next door and rent 2 horror movies.
Nice.
And still have fucking money left over.
Yeah.
Okay, time out. Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Sure.
You keep bringing up horror, and that's one thing I forgot to mention about myself. Who is, well, first of all, what kind of horror is your go-to horror? Like slasher, elevated, classic? What's your go-to?
The most disgusting ones?
So like Saw, like murder porn.
No, I don't like that. So the shit I like body horror.
Okay.
Oh, so you're a Hellraiser fan?
Yes, like Hellraiser, anything that's like H.P. Lovecraft, like the fucking Reanimator series and fucking From Beyond and The Void and shit like that. And I love 80s horror. Almost anything in the fucking 80s I absolutely love. I wasn't really too much on the slashers though. Like I did like Freddy and I dug Chucky. I don't really dig the like silent slasher mask thing. To me, it's damn near all the same. So I'm just like, eh. Man, I'm sure somebody's gonna tell me that I'm going to hell for that. I'm gonna piss off some Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers fans, but
Michael Myers. Don't hate on them.
You got one of the biggest fans of theirs in the chat, and my thing about it is, if that's your horror, then dude, love your horror, and it's nothing. Everybody likes a different stuff, dude. I mean, like,
Be yourself.
do your thing, bro. Like, I'm more into the slashers, and here recently, like the paranormal, like Insidious, Sinister, Conjuring, stuff like that, Annabelle series. I really got into those. But yeah, I had to ask you because you kept bringing up horror, and it made me think. I was like, damn, I didn't mention that I'm a big horror nut.
Oh yeah, I'm big into horror. Have been ever since I was a young child. I think the very first horror movie I ever watched was Puppet Master.
Oh, I watched those when I was a kid. I watched one not long ago too. I think first one.
I've got the whole damn fucking collection.
Me and my roommate have a Voodoo account. Just buy the digital titles, and I'm pretty sure we have all the Puppet Masters on there, or most of them at least.
I've got a lot of stuff from Full Moon. About anything that Full Moon did, like back in the 80s and like really early 90s, I think I own pretty much fucking all of them. Like everything from like Doll Man and Demonic Toys.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Fucking Ghoulies, fucking all that shit.
I've got every nice movie Maniacs collection.
I remember. I'll age myself. I remember renting Doll Man versus Demonic Toys from Blockbuster when I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, I think when I started watching, Blockbuster didn't even exist yet.
We all just telling our ages in here.
Yeah. Blockbuster wasn't even a fucking thing when I was a kid. So I think Blockbuster didn't show up where I was living till I was probably a teenager, maybe.
Yeah.
I was.
And now they don't exist anymore again.
There used to be one in Georgia, outside of Savannah, in Garden City, Georgia. There was one for the longest time, but I think it finally closed down about 3 years ago.
Wow.
For a while there, the last Blockbuster, and it even hyped up being the last one, was in Bend, Oregon, I believe is where it was. And I think they just shut it up like within the past year, maybe. What's Kaylin saying? Oh, no. That just means Kaylin. That just means you like good horror movies. Child's Play is a good horror movie. Yes. Making her rewind it was just making sure that you got all the good details.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So if you guys, since we're on the subject of horror, if you were locked in a house for 24 hours with any horror icon, who would you choose to be locked in that house with? Obviously, you got to decide whether you want to die really fucking fast or do you want a chance of survival.
I was gonna ask, is that like we're in the house with them and we're gonna die
Yeah,
ultimately?
come
So
after-
like,
come
Dying
after
to
me.
survive.
This is
Okay.
1v1.
in that case, I would. While it's brutal, I feel like the only opportunity to actually have a chance would be a jigsaw situation. But although all of those are so terrifying, if it was legit, I would probably just panic and I wouldn't be able to focus on the task. But I would not want to go toe to toe with, Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger or Chucky.
Rules question. Are we talking any horror icon?
Yeah.
All right. So then the only chance of survival for me is probably being locked in a house with Jaws, right? Because he's
Hey, yeah, 'cause he ain't gonna be doing much biting if he's not in water.
Winner circle.
Yeah. Well played.
I was gonna go the cheap route and say Billy the Puppet. Not John Kramer, Billy the Puppet. He's just a puppet. Either that, if we're being real for a second, I would say Ghostface. And the reason why I say that is because at the end of the day, Ghostface is just a person wearing a Halloween costume, which I know like Michael Myers is too, but he's like, I forget, he had a condition, like they tried to explain it as him having a condition where he couldn't feel pain and all this, and he kind of has that supernatural element to it, so you can't really kill him. But Ghostface was always just some dumb teenager in a mask. I could, as long as I can hold my own against them, I'd be good. It doesn't matter if they're wearing the costume or not. It's still a man or a woman at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. See, there is a winner circle though, because
he definitely gets one.
Yeah, because there is Christine.
That is true.
Don't get in the motherfucking car.
Right.
Don't get in it.
I'm sucking the gas out of it.
Yeah, fucking leprechaun.
Yeah.
Give me the goddamn fucking gold and call it a goddamn day.
True.
Or creature from the Black Lagoon. It's a fucking fish. It can only breathe for so long out of fucking water.
Yeah, kind of like the Jaws.
Just outrun the damn thing. Well, Jaws can't get you on goddamn land, so he's fucked. So there's some new ones for the fucking winter circle.
Well, there's also, if you really think about it, you really get down to it, there's also Freddy Krueger as long as you stay awake.
Yeah,
that is true.
I can do that because I like to sleep.
Yeah, I gotta have sleep.
Life or death, I will be pulling an all-nighter.
He needs his beauty rest.
Yeah,
I do.
I guess this defeats them being in the house or not, and it's also probably one of my favorite but slept on horror icons is Candyman, because as long as you don't say his name. But I guess essentially,
don't say the God. Don't be a fucking idiot. Don't say the God.
So I've got to add something to that. Like I went and saw, and I won't ruin anything because I know some people hadn't seen it or anything, but I went and saw the most recent Final Destination movie, and it was Tony Todd's last performance, and he said like a line. I can't remember exactly what it was, but the last scene in the movie that he is in, and that was his last movie too before he passed away. He said a line. And I looked at the person I was with at the movies and I said, that is so crazy because that was literally his last movie that he said that. Like, and he knew he was about to die. I mean, he was a very sickly man. But it got me teared up because I grew up on Candyman too, and I'm a big Tony Todd fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same.
Fair enough. Well, we're gonna give Meg we're going to give Meg the last question of the night before we go into y'all's music video.
Let's go.
So what piece of advice would you give to bands that are just forming, just starting out? What piece of advice would you give to them?
Jamie, I'll let you go first, or Casey.
I would give them the same advice that was given to me. And I would say, don't quit. Because if you quit, then you'll never know. But if you just don't stop, you're going to look back and say, look where you are now because you didn't quit. And that's the only way you succeed. And if you try and try and try and you fail, then you never can say I didn't try. But if you never try in the first place, then you're never going to succeed.
That's right. I actually was going to say something very similar to Jamie. A quote that I love a lot is that every expert was once a beginner. So just stay in the course, like James said. And if we're talking specifically bands, you know, where you have a faction of people, as long as you vibe with those people, you know, you really get a bond, stay the course, and also making sure that, which, you know, admittedly, this took me a while to understand and get a grip on, but as an individual, practice is when you're learning something. Rehearsal is when you all come together and you are going over what you already know.
That's a good one. That's a
That
great one.
is.
I'll piggyback off of kind of what they said too. Number one, you like if you're just starting a band fresh, understand that you will fall down. You will have times when you think that it's too overwhelming for you. You're going to go through member changes. You're going to go through, you know, arguments with bandmates. But as long as you keep a steady sight at your goal, you will achieve them. And you won't achieve mainstream success overnight, but you will get little bits as time goes on. Because we started off and, you know, for funsies the other day, I put on like our old EP that's only like available like on a like YouTube or something, and played that compared to where we are now. It's two different bands. Even though that three of the members are the same from that first EP, it's two different bands, and you never stop evolving. Don't get complacent in what you're doing. Always evolve, always take chances, and understand that there's an old saying, and it's a lot of times it's used in wrestling, but I'll use it for this. You will have to pay your dues, and your dues is a loss of sleep, time away from family and everything. But if you are set to do this, keep going and you will succeed.
I like it.
Excellent. On that, everybody, we have ran out of time, but we will be back tomorrow night with another interview. Make sure you go check out all of Ashes to Omens, all their stuff. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever fucking 50 million other social media accounts are fucking out there, because I can't even fucking keep up with all of them anymore. I don't know. Fucking Lemonade, Blue Sky.
Mainly.
Whichever ones they got, go buy some music, go buy merch, and on that, watch the video for their song The Tide. And until then, we will see you guys tomorrow night.
Bye.
Y'all.
Thank you.
just